Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. This is your weekly forecast. Well, it doubles as the forecast for Sunday and also the underpinning energy of the week. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in supporting me over on Patreon, please go over to patreon.com and look up Engelgeist, and you can choose a subscription level over there if you'd like. You can also like my Facebook business page and follow me there if you'd like. This is the forecast for October 18th through the 24th. This will find this message. It is for the highest good of the greater collective. Therefore, it is available to you whenever you need it, so you can watch it whenever. It doesn't have to be watched during that week. If it finds its way to you on a different date, please continue watching it. It could have a message in there for you, since it is for the highest good of the greater collective. Each card is going to represent maybe a day or two. Some of you may experience only one of these cards all week. Some of you may experience all of these cards and then some. So you kind of have to sort of take what you need and leave the rest. See where it applies to your life. And if you make any decisions from having watched this reading in your personal life, just remember that they are your responsibility, okay? So let's get into this. And also, if none of this makes sense or it doesn't fit with what's going on in your day-to-day right now, that's completely fine. Just so you know, there's no need to worry or think, oh, something is off. It's not. It's just you're working on something different than what's in this reading. And that's totally acceptable. And probably sometimes a good thing, you know? So let's see what's going on. Okay, so for the beginning of the week, we have Agatha Christie, which is trickery. Great, just what I need. The one thing I will say about this, even though this is trickery, Agatha Christie, what I do know about her, and I can't say that I know much, she is a literary witch, so she is going to have a little bit more punch. That's the way that I determine these cards. The trickery aspect here, to me, it feels a little bit mischievous. She feels like she's got, like, she knows something. I don't know how well you can see that. But it feels to me like she might be playing with us. It might feel like life is just sort of playing with us. I don't get a really dire feeling from her. I mean, we do have this noose and the knife. Those things don't look so great to me, but I feel like when I'm looking at this, the trickery aspect, I feel like she's playing games with us. So I feel like in the beginning of the week, some of us may experience situations, and also let's keep in mind, we are in a Mercury retrograde. So things may feel worse than they actually really are, right? Communications might go south a little bit faster or become a little bit more annoying and get under our skin a little bit more easily. We also have Mars, which is the sort of the planet of debate and argument, or fighting and wars. That's also retrograde in the sign of Aries, which is its home sign, but it's also a very fiery, dynamic, demanding sign. So, and that's also in retrograde. So debates could be off, situations could be off, offers could be off, but I don't feel like, I will be clear with this, I feel like she's sort of laughing underneath that. There's something about her that feels like, I almost feel like a he 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 he. In other words, this is just maybe a test. The emergency broadcasting system, this is only a test, just a test. Like, it feels very temporary. It's not as big as it may seem. It's not as dire as it may seem, although it may seem, like that news and that knife make me feel like, oh, it is a big deal at the moment, or as we're dealing with it, as we're facing it. It's something that's maybe come out of nowhere, but it's only to kind of maybe jar us awake, shift our perspective. It feels like it's fooling us slightly. It's interesting to me too, yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, the teacup. No, yesterday was the lantern. I just find it interesting that she's holding this teacup and having a tea service. That fragility that we saw 2 days ago in last week's reading of teacup, I just noticed that teacup on the table and it made me think of that card. So I would say be mindful of our own mind playing tricks on us too, right? Agatha Christie wrote murder mysteries, right? And they were always to be solved, and they were very, my understanding is that they were very well written and quite popular and always had a surprise to them. So I would say with this card, there may be something that is unseen, unforeseen, may turn out to be a surprise. It may turn out to be a surprise towards the later end of the week or further down the line. Don't necessarily let it get so up under your skin is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this card. Allow yourself to roll with it. Adapt to whatever might be, jumping in your path or changing your plans, and know that it's sort of, my feeling is that it's temporary, that it's a bit of foolishness, to be honest, or like I said, trickery. Trickery to me does not feel like super major. Is it a pain in the ass? Yeah. Is it like, does it slow us down? Certainly. That's especially that clock up in that image, up in the upper part of the image. The clock feels like, the timing on something may change. The planning on something may change. Somebody might throw a spanner in the works for us on whatever we're working towards or on. But don't let that get you down, right? It's just sort of like a sidetrack or an alternate route kind of thing, right? Let's see what the midweek card is. Okay, she's new to us. So this is Faru Farakzad. I hope I said that correctly. Rebellion. It's interesting to me, she's in that design for the wall, right? That card, the wall. We have all of these birds around her, right? The trees are bleeding. The birds are dead around her. Whoa. This is a rather dark card. She looks a little pissed to me, too. Okay. I'm going to say this, guys. This may not be our week. Right out of the gate. I'm just going to say this only because both of these witches are here today in the beginning part of the week and the midweek to tell us to kind of be on alert. Be on alert for foolishness, be on alert for being misled, for lies, for deceit, toxic people, that sort of a thing. I feel like this rebellion card in the center is us protecting ourselves, walling ourselves off, maybe some self-care involved. I feel like, where's my pointer? If we look at this, she's holding this one live bird, but there's these two dead birds here, and then these flowers are passing around her. But yet we have flowers growing on these sides of her walls, right? As she's sort of protecting herself, drawing her boundaries and standing firm in those, that would be the rebellion aspect of this card. I feel like there is still life for us, there is still opportunity for us, but we have to protect it. This week, we may have to stand up for what we believe in. We may have to speak our mind. We may have to call some things into question, or some trickery that we, experience from somebody that we maybe love, or from a situation that we thought was going a certain way and it turned out not to be. We may have to stand firm in who we are and what we know. The other interesting thing I think between these two ladies, it almost feels like they're dueling. Like this one is facing this direction and she's facing her in this direction. She's wearing a dark colored jacket and she's wearing a light colored jacket. Like in this rebellion, we stand in our truth, right? The trees bleeding makes me feel really sad. Like it feels like something in the environment is going wrong. And that could be some of this trickery that we have here. And I still feel like this is foolishness, right? But when I see these bleeding trees and the passing of the birds and the wilting of the flowers, by midweek, there could be some real signs or, what's the word I want to say? Like, there could be some perceptions that really look like things are not working out. But what we need to do is we need to stand firm and pure in who we are and what we know, protect what we have, and know that not all is lost, right? This wall to me is about her putting up her guard in a way, drawing her boundaries, no matter what's going on around her, being firm in who she is and who she knows, right? What she knows. She will protect what she has, if that makes sense. There may be some losses this week for some of us in some way, shape, or form. And the reason why I say that is these birds and these flowers. Excuse me. it may feel a little bit like the environment is working against us. That is the bleeding of the trees, possibly. But I feel like this is quite possibly an adjustment that needs to take place, right? A transformation of the environment around us so that we can sort of stand firm and pure. And it may feel like we're rebelling against everything that's going on or we're doing the wrong thing, but I kind of feel like we may not be, right? If that makes any sense at all. Let's see what the third card is. Oh, wow. Okay, so we have all literary witches this week. This is Virginia Woolf, and this is Vision. What I like about Virginia Woolf here is that I'm going to be honest, guys, this feels a bit like a dark and foreboding reading. I don't like to predict dark and foreboding stuff for people, right? It feels like this is going to be maybe a hard week for folks. Maybe it's not you. Remember, this reading is for the greater collective. So if you're having a great week, have that great week and run with it. Don't take my word over what you see as happening, okay? Don't manifest that or utilize anything that I say here to be like, oh shit, here comes a bad week. What I do want to say is that not all hope is lost. Virginia Woolf there, she still has the white shirt of purity that we see here in Rebellion. She has this wolf with her, right? Her bird has turned into a wolf to me in a way. And from this pen, this inkwell, she has all of this blossom, right? Through her intelligence, her creativity, her spirit, her soul. Even though things may feel dark, she's able to still grow this beauty back around her, right? If there's losses in the early part of the week and the midweek where our environment is sort of turning in on us, changing, shifting in ways that we weren't expecting. Again, remember, like I said, it's Mercury retrograde season. Things may be frustrating. By week's end, I feel like Virginia Woolf to me feels a little bit more empowered, right? But she's still in this sort of dark river, right? She's still sort of in this darkness. And to me, what this says is that she's not allowing sort of the frustrations or darkness of, like, say, the retrograde to get to her, or maybe what's going on in the world, what's going on around us, what's vying for our attention. She's going more inward. She's going into this inkwell. This inkwell is like a part of who she is internally, right? From her writings, we learn who Virginia Woolf is at a deeper, more intimate level, right? That's her art. That's where she creates from. That's the energy of her spirit or soul, right? So we have that within us. We start to acquire that or protect that here in this Rebellion card. We start to honor that. That's the flowers that we have growing around the wall and the bird that she's holding. To me, those are the delicate aspects of who we are that we need to hold on to, protect, pay attention to, even if the rest of the world is falling apart in a way, or if it seems like the rest of people around us are losing their shit. Or maybe even we feel like we're losing our shit. We need to kind of gather it back together and go more internal. I also feel that in this internal aspect to Virginia Woolf, because she feels like she's in a night dream, like she looks like she's in her bed to me, even though this also looks like a murky river. But it also doubles as a visual of like a bed, like she's in her dreams. So some of you may be paying attention to your dreams or working with your dreams, trying to keep focus on them. I feel like you will be able to get there. Virginia Woolf's word is vision, right? So it's about maintaining that vision, that idea of where we want to be, not where we are, right? If we're in a state where we're looking at things as they are and they're not acceptable to us or they feel uncomfortable to us, we want to sort of hold tight to the beauty that is in that inkwell, right? The beauty that is within us, the creativity, the intelligence, the spirit or soul that is within us that can help us to create and find our way back to something better than what we may be experiencing, or just to create something whole and new again, okay? This may be a rough week for some of you. Keeping that in mind, though, I don't want you to fear it at all. I think that Virginia Woolf's vision card at the end shows us that we're strengthening our belief in ourselves. Even the Rebellion card speaks that way to me, too, is that we are getting truer to ourselves in some way, shape, or form. We are rebelling against maybe what others think of us, need from us, say we are. Do you see what I'm saying? And we're standing true in who we are. And from that truth or that rebellion, we're able to secure and focus on the vision of what is deep within inside of us and how we go about releasing that and creating that within our world. This being 3 literary witches this week speaks to like this being a very powerful week. It may be unavoidable in some respects, like if some of us, I have a tendency to want to climb into bed and hide out. We may not be able to do that even for bed. It's kind of what we're like, yeah, with these witches. Like, it's going to be something that, like, is in our face. All right, let's see here. What does the Queen of the Moon Oracle want to say? Okay, wow. All right, so we have Waning Crescent, number 6, the Path. This is card number 8. Eights bring about balance. When I think about the path, it feels to me like when I'm looking at this, there's, if we look closer, there's this young girl and she's down there. I don't know how well you can see that because of the shadow, I'm sorry. There's this young girl and she's down here. She may be contemplating climbing this ladder to something new, right? There's this old castle in the background. And these stars to me symbolize like maybe the old dreams or ideas that we might have had. And in some way we may have to let those things go so that we can move forward to climb into this ladder, to climb through this portal or this door to a new beginning, right? Or to a new idea. And this is part of the path. And some of the struggle that I see in these 3 literary witch cards during the week may be exactly the struggle that we need, that prompt us to climb up onto that ladder, to move to that next step in our evolution, in our growth, in our learning, right? And sometimes through adversity or through hardship, we evolve, right? If it was all just easy and beautiful, we would not really change very much. We would just sort of stay stagnant or the same and static, and that's not how the universe works. That's not how nature works. There's a certain amount of chaos involved in nature and constant change, right? The cycles, all of that. It has to be sort of honored and included. It can't be shut out or denied. And so for anybody that's trying to shut out or deny that this week, we may find that we are struggling against that. This path card to me speaks to the idea that there are opportunities here for us to, like, to me, this gateway here or this doorway to a new perspective, a new opportunity, a new otherwise unseen idea, possibility, relationship, whatever this may be for you, is sort of what's in this inkwell with Virginia Woolf. Right? It's whatever's growing and that's within her, that she desires, that she can create. But she has to trust in the darkness that she can create that. And then she has to be willing and brave enough to sort of climb up on the ladder and begin the sort of new walk or the new path towards this this experience, right? Or this new trajectory, so to speak. Right? So I think that this week with these 3 literary witches, although they may be adverse or they might be pushing us in ways that challenge us, what they're doing is they're basically challenging us to get back to balance. That's the 8 that we see in the path card. They're challenging us to get back onto the path. There is something of benefit to all of this. The path card to me feels really rife with opportunities. We just may not see it yet because we're not yet there on the ladder. We're not yet there at the door, right? We're still sort of looking and holding on to what once was and not sort of, and also I feel like there's this loss of these dreams or this sparkle or these ideas that we thought we had, that we thought were the goal, that we might have to sort of shift or change, right? And as we do that, something new opens up. something changes for us. Let me go to the grounding stone really quick. So during this week, I didn't know this, we have 2 wisdoms in here, I guess. The grounding stone is on, the word is wisdom, right? And it is on, I can't think because my phone is ringing, sorry guys. It is on obsidian. Obsidian is a very grounding stone. It's also very good for warding off negativity, okay? The reason why I feel like this stone has come out is to ground us very deeply to the earth, to ground us and keep us protected while we deal with adverse situations this week through these 3 literary witches. Again, remember, everything is in, a lot of planets are doing a lot of really strange stuff. So some of this is just sort of people acting out planetarily in the sense that they're doing what exactly they're supposed to be doing because they're feeling the vibes too. But standing strong in our wisdom, that's sort of the rebellion card that we see in what we know to be true. Warding off negativity through the use of that wisdom, through the embrace of that wisdom. And it's that very wisdom that will get us up onto that ladder to move along our path and to move on to maybe depart from situations that are no longer giving us what we need and move towards, albeit unknown situations, but situations that are more filled with possibility and will bring us into balance with who we are and what we need. That is your forecast for the day. I hope that makes sense, you guys. I'm sorry if that sounds a little bit foreboding, but I really do think that ultimately with that path card and the wisdom as the grounding stone, it is all meant for the higher good of all of this. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you all for tuning in. Please give this video a like and a subscribe and share it out and take good care. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.